Hello, it's Jimmy at O'Reilly's. I'm looking at a Range Rover Evoque. Okay, we have an exhaust filter full sign, engine management light on. This car's got a little bit of a backstory to it. His brother works for the AA, and he's been out trying to sort out the problem. They've done a little bit from my videos, so they've sorted out the NOx problem, but surprisingly enough, the AA guy, he said his diagnostic machines can't do anything for these codes here. So that was the vehicle conditions incorrect. It had a NOx exceedance code, which is now sorted out. AdBlue was topped up. We'll have a look. We've got a block DPF basically, and the conditions are incorrect. And it's only done 30,000 miles, so probably a little bit of a related to the problem is the lack of use. We'll go to data stream here and we'll look at the DPF soot and the DPF pressure. Okay, so DPF is at 103%. It has 46 grams of soot calculated, and millibars of pressure on the DPF at idle is 40 millibars. And let's have a look. If we accelerate it up 3000 RPM, we have 310. Well, let's drop back down a bit now. 250, 260, 270. I did just go to 320, but then it moved down and it looks like it's creeping back up again. So we got around about 300 millibars of pressure basically on the DPF there at 3000 RPM. Idle, we're sitting right about 40. Yep, we still are. So we'll get it cleaned out. Okay, I'm gonna bring some of these pliers with me. Just put the car on some stands so it's easier to get underneath. Okay, I'm going to use my compressor here with the launch DPF gun right here, and I've got the launch DPF cleaning fluid that I'm going to mix with a 50% water. So we'll put half of this in here, and then the other half I'm going to fill up with water, and we'll get that topped up. So just about full there. So we're just under the vehicle here. We've got a little cross brace here. We're just going to open that up, get the bolts off it. The last bolt here, we only need to loosen that down, and that'll allow us to just turn it out of the way there. So now if we come here just to where the front prop shaft is, right up there we have the DPF pressure sensor with the two hoses on it there. Okay, so I've disconnected the DPF pressure sensor there, and I've got my hose connected. You can't really get in there with the camera. Got the hose there connected to the DPF pipe, and it's the one that runs just there. So you got a pipe that runs there, and then you got the second one that goes back down after the DPF over there somewhere. So make sure you put it in the one that goes before the DPF right there. Okay, so with that hose connected, I can now just squeeze the trigger, get all of that cleaning fluid directly into the DPF there. So I'm just going to hold that until the whole contents are gone, and it's connected to the compressor there. Okay, now I've reconnected the DPF pressure sensor there. Now I've reconnected that cross brace there, or whatever you'd call it. That's all back on. Right, so with all of that done, we can get back inside the vehicle. Okay, we'll start her up, and we'll get the diagnostics back on. Okay, we'll get the DPF pressure on a chart. We'll give it some revs, hold it back up to 3000 RPM where it was earlier, and we'll get the chart back on here. This scan tool is to launch Eurotab 3. I'm not sure if I already said that. Let that screen focus there. So we want to see that pressure coming down a fair bit. Around about 50 millibars we want to be seeing at that. And under 10 at idle. These usually sit around about 1 or 2 millibars. Starting to come down slowly. Almost there. Now on 90 millibars so far. $70. Seems like it's evened out a bit there. Around about 70. Let's let it idle down, see where we're idling. Again, we've got 0 millibars. Now on these you've got to be a little bit suspicious if the pressure comes too low, because it can mean the DPF's damaged. But I did check the tips of this before we even done a clean. It's nice and clean, there's no soot on the exhaust, so nothing to say that the DPF's cracked. The DPF pressure was very high when we came to check it. But the sensors on these, they're not very sensitive, so if I put my manometer on there, I don't want to go back under and disconnect it all again, but you can almost guarantee the manometer would read that there's maybe 5 or 6 millibars. These are just, the sensors on these aren't too sensitive. So you can see if we hold it up, we're getting sort of 70 to 80 millibars. Anything under 100 is okay. Normally you'd usually see them sit around 50, 60 millibars. We're on 70 there. See, it's only been running a couple of minutes. Okay, now that these grams of soot here has gone so high, these levels have gone so high, they're not going to come back down on their own. So what we're going to need to do now that the pressure is low, we can go back to special functions. Let's just turn the ignition off, engine off, sorry, and ignition on. And what we're going to need to look for is the exhaust system, particle filter replacement. Press OK. Ignition is on number 2. Yes. Yes, we are on number 2. Now it's going to clear the fault codes. Now we need to wait for that count time to go down. Okay, now that all that's successful, we should be able to go. Let's switch the ignition back on. We should be able to go back into these codes and they should be gone. Yep, there you go. See that? The one that's back there, that's just because we didn't go back into the system, that's why it flags it up still. But when you go back in and actually read the codes, now you can see everything's turned green. We'll go back to the data stream, and now the calculations of the soot, those ones I was talking about that don't come back down, they should now be reset. So if we go to soot, they are now on 0. If we start the vehicle up, that's all good. So as long as he doesn't get a NOx code come back or anything of the similar. Let that screen focus again, sorry about that, it just randomly wants to focus in and out. So yeah, so as long as you don't get any of those other faults come back, NOx exceedance codes, you won't have any more issues for a long time with the DPF. What I can say about these vehicles here, this Evoque with the 2-litre engine, or the Discovery Sport, it doesn't matter what you do with these. You put a brand new DPF on them, you clean the DPF, it's never a permanent fix. These vehicles are just a constant issue with these sort of problems. AdBlue problems, DPF problems, cam chain issues. I'm pretty sure this one is going to need a cam chain soon. I can hear it rattling when you start it up, and I don't know what codes were there before that, but yeah, basically that's what I'm saying is, if you clean one of these, don't expect it to last forever, because they won't. I know a customer of mine who's got one of these. It's a year old and it's already had three replacement DPFs from Land Rover. I think it's on like something around the 20,000 mile mark. So that's it, another Range Rover Evoque 2.0 Ingenium with a successful DPF clean. See you on the next video.